Welcome to Kiwiradio.nz. You're tuned into our wonderful live session today with Ben Ruegg. I've said that right. I was doing my homework and prepared. That intro song is one of mine, man. So, yeah, there we go. If you like it, it's called Souvenirs. EP is available at ralphie.bandcamp.com. There you go. I don't plug myself enough. But anyways.
You should. I can't hear myself that well in here.
Yeah?
You want? Is that right? There we go. Yeah, that's better. Cool.
You've got control of this little volume. You're in control, my friend. Anyways, thank you so much. Welcome and happy holidays.
Yes. Yeah, for some people, let's be honest. Some people are still working, so I appreciate they're working. But yes, for us right now with the kids and all the grandparents out there looking after kids as well, happy holidays.
Me too, man. Like I don't work the typical 9 to 5 as a disability support worker. So, you know, I've made time for our little fun time here today. This is awesome.
Thank you.
Now, Ben Ruegg is, you know, head of music department. He's very passionate about music, as far as I know. And I've seen you in different podcasts. I've seen you here and there, and you're just plugging the next generation as well as your stuff too. You're a busy musician yourself. So
Thank you.
That's cool to see, someone living and breathing music. I mean, that's a little bit like me. So I feel like we've bonded already, and we've also bonded with another mutual interest, which is Street Fighter, right?
Yeah, man. Street Fighter all the way.
Favorite character?
Ken.
Oh, I'm a Ryu guy. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They're very similar, but there's something about the red that is fierce, and I always appreciated that. So, when it was it Turbo? Street Fighter Turbo? And then if you pressed the wrong key, you'd get the blue version of Ken. Any other color never worked for me. It had to be red. Hence why I think like my favorite color is red.
Yeah, there's a lot of red tinges in the studio too, so you can probably see. There we go. We're just two peas in a pod. Basically, Chaotic City is the latest single, which we'll play first. Well, there's actually a few singles that have been released from your album at the moment. Also by the same name.
Yeah, working on that. Chaotic Sea was the name, sorry, not City. Chaotic Sea.
Oh, sorry,
that's
my
okay.
bad.
That's
my
okay.
bad.
That's okay. There's a reason for that, but yeah. So I've been working on this for, I would say, like properly for over a year now. Mm-hmm. So this journey started last year, really. But then, like the story and how it all unfolds is basically my whole life. So I know everyone says that sort of stuff, but really. There's an element of I just want it to be done now in some ways and let it go, and I'm really excited. We're this close to it.
Work in progress, and that's a living project is what I like to hear.
Yeah.
You know, there's always time for remasters, re-edits, remixes down the line, but the fact that you're just getting it to the finish line as much as possible, taking it in stages, love that for you. Anyways, I'm keen to hear about it. Now, sure. If you haven't heard about the podcast, we're about 140 plus episodes in, and we really promote the storytelling element of each song. Yep. You know, because a song is a 3 or 4 minute book, really. Yep,
and I would say the whole album is kind of connected all together in one powerful message, but I'll let people figure that one out for themselves. They can take away whatever they like from it. Yeah.
Okay, well, I like that. I was going to ask you what that message is, but
we can talk about what it means to me, but
sure.
It doesn't mean that it has to be that for somebody else.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Let's do that.
Okay.
I mean, I'd like to hear your perspective as well.
I'm happy. Do you want to play the song first?
Yes.
Do you want me to talk about it first?
I think we should tease,
the song first. Okay.
wet the palate, shall we say. So you're tuned into Kiwiradio.nz. This first track is The Chaotic Sea by Ben Ruegg, who is here in studio with us, and it's so exciting when people come in and take the time to do that. So let's go. Kiwi Radio.
Do you feel that invisible force that's charging up the air tonight? A storm is brewing, I've felt this before. Are you ready to step into the light? Hey, it's complicated, and I don't mean to take up your time. Hey, yeah, it's so complicated, and I just wish you'd open your eyes. time. Yeah. It's so complicated, and I just wish you'd open your
The Chaotic Sea. Find your tribe, people, in this chaotic madness of the last few years. Recently, it's kind of been a divisive couple of years, but I find, when you find your tribe, you find a job or career path that you enjoy, you do a better job at it, really. We were talking about, you said that this is quite a personal journey for you and putting this out as music. There's been some divisive changes, really, in your life. And your pathway to happiness, which is where you're at now. Tell me a bit about that in your own words, and also a bit about this record in your own words. We touched on it earlier.
There we go. Yeah, I would say, essentially, I'm going to skip a whole lot, but I'm going to summarize it very quickly. So I have epilepsy, and I didn't know I had epilepsy. So I woke up at hospital and found out that I should have died, potentially. Luckily, the next door neighbor was an intensive care paramedic, and his wife was a Middlemore nurse, and so they were there to kind of figure out what they needed to do urgently, which they did. And luckily, because of some intervening that they were involved in, I was able to get to the hospital very quickly, or at least be helped out. And so when you go through something like that and you can't drive for 6 months and you kind of question everything, it lets you kind of figure out in your own mind what you want to do. If that's what life is all about, is just working day to day and making money and collecting things. Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is where I am now is that I've learned from that experience to just completely dedicate yourself to the present moment. It's all you ever get.
Yeah, the present is the best present. Your presence is the best present, which is what I love. And it does, almost near-death experiences, you were saying, would change your priorities there and then, right? You take for granted some of the things that are just right in front of you,
Right.
But you've been in music this whole time, right? What sort of rocketed it to the next level? Was it after the fact that you started teaching and you were hearing the next generation, or is it a bit deeper than that for you?
That would be, so coming out of that experience, and I loved music my whole life and have played it, and people have probably seen my name advertised. I've tried a little bit of advertising, and they might have remembered me from primary school and whatnot, but I would say, I've always followed music. The thing that really catapulted it was probably the passing of my father. When I found out he was really sick.
Wow.
And there was two ways to deal with that. One would be get really angry and upset about everything, why did he only get this amount of time? Or the other option was to let's just relive and be grateful for everything we've had. And that was the path I learned how to take. And I didn't understand what was going on at the time, but for some reason I stepped real into that, and I just had the most profound experiences throughout that. And that has led me to things like taking the job that I am in now, to walking into the Hawkins Theatre and saying, I really want to put on a show. It was that idea of, if our life is, finite, which it is, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Don't know what's going to happen on the way home. So why not just dedicate myself to trying to have a really cool story to talk about in the future?
Wow.
And maybe it completely fails. Maybe all of this is just a waste of my time. But it doesn't really bother me. Yeah, it's a very profound experience.
Purpose and passion is kind of like the two figureheads of creating the happy life. Really, I've got it. Well, some of the things you've said have already touched a nerve. My background was my dad passed away before I was even born.
Right.
And so I didn't know this at the time, but as a kid, I was told that they tried therapy and things like that. Found out that there was a piano teacher that lived across the road. They tried that instead, and I was just off to the moon, right? After that. Because there's something about music that you can just sink your soul into, and everything else kind of starts to disappear, and you can create your own world with music.
I would argue that we can apply that same principle to any creativity. any
Yeah.
creativity. So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
moment you stop, you have to kind of get out of your own way. It's the experience of creating that's so powerful and beautiful. That's why I've spent so much time, in my little studio at home and have been developing and building it for so long, so that I can just create. And some of it's rubbish, and but nonetheless, it was fun to make. And then some of it ends up being pretty good. And more importantly, I find that when we look back at art and we listen to what we were saying,
Yeah.
a lot of that we were just making up on the spot.
Yeah.
There's some very powerful, almost prophetic. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Just
It is.
things that kind of like, oh my gosh, we're gonna walk
Yeah.
into this situation, or this is a song about that situation.
Yep.
Sometimes the art and the music isn't for me; it's for somebody else.
Yeah.
And,
Wow.
I know that sounds real deep as well, but
I
it
love
really
deep.
it really is, man. Like as a kid, when I was 12 years old, 12, 13, I've still got songs from that age, sitting in my bedroom with a guitar and
Yeah.
just writing songs.
Man.
No one really heard them other than a few people
Yeah.
that were my friends. But I don't know, man. Something special about creativity.
It takes a big leap. Because I've, one of the compliments we've had on the show is we'll interview anyone at any age, at any
Right.
part, at any time of their career and development. And some of the younger people I've talked to, it's that first leap of actually publishing something out in the open space, for others to critique.
Right.
That is really scary stuff because you're sharing some of your diary notes. And there's an element of, well, hang on, I might be judged for this. And we touched a little bit because you were a teacher and you were saying, I was asking you earlier off air, like, what do the kids listen to and how their tastes in music kind of develop. And there's a bit of peer pressure a little bit, really, as to trying to fit in.
I would say that would be, it's we're bombarded all the time with different images and expectations of what we should look like and how we should live and what we should sound like, and these type of people, or this person, my friend, they like this style, and if I don't like it, all that sort of stuff that we know about. But I would say that right now, man, there's some kids listening to some great music, and it's really good to hear and to teach them how to explain what it is and why they like the music that they listen to. I would say that's getting them to critique what it is they like, that will help them in making great decisions in the future, because they'll be able to discern why something is important to them and why it isn't. Music at the moment it's just the streaming thing, man. It gets a lot of people down. I totally get that as well. And so it's very easy for songs to go viral and people to get upset about it because they might not necessarily think it's a great song, but it's a great song to somebody and somebody likes it.
I love that. I love how you've kind of worded that. Every song is a great song for someone.
Yeah.
So wow, cool. I could go in different. My brain is like working on 150% mode because straight away I can tell I'm gonna have fun with this interview. But there's so many different avenues I kind of want to take the discussion, but we only have an hour slot.
Right.
But please come back already. I can tell you're gonna be one of my favorite
Thank you.
guests. So yeah, let me process and see where we want to take this interview. It can go all places. Really.
I'll tell you what we did before we played that song is to explain what is that song about.
Yeah.
So this
Please.
chaotic sea is kind of is an example of, when you're faced with life decisions and it feels really, really scary that you're going to take a leap of faith or you're going to do something. There's all these things are running in your head about what could happen. What has happened before is going to dictate to you in some way how you feel something is going to end up playing out. And it's for those people that have the courage to really say, look, I don't really mind. It's about the ride and the journey and the experience of such a thing.
Yeah.
That's good enough for me. So it's like when we take kids to go look at roller coasters at a theme park, they're normally very scared.
Yeah.
But there are actually some, kids when they're just before a certain age that they still haven't figured out what that means to them, what it means to be scared. So they jump on, and then they love it. But when they get older, they start to get they become more aware of it now. And so therefore they start to get a little bit scared about it.
Yeah.
And I would say that this chaotic sea is about that idea around just get out there. Whereabouts are you living your life right now? Are you wanting to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish? Or are you still kind of making excuses for why or whatnot? Just give it a go, man. Just see what happens. And if it fails and falls flat on its face, well, that's great. You've learned something that you shouldn't try again maybe, or you've learned a lesson somewhere.
I do that in my field. We sometimes take days where we're basically experimenting. We call it exposure days.
Right.
Because sometimes in exposure days you can unveil these passions that you didn't know even existed.
Right.
There's this one guy, I'm supporting, and there's limitations with his disability, as you know, and he's living through that. But all of a sudden, we figured out he loved hiking, and it was just through one of those exposure days, one of those experimenting days, right? And tying back to music, I think as artists, we need to be able to basically experiment genres, whatever ideas. Are you a fan of just rock?
No,
Or
no way.
yeah?
I love everything. Hip hop is one of my favorite styles of music.
Is it?
Hands down. Yeah, yeah. And funnily enough, Meshuggah is a band that I can fall asleep to. If you know Meshuggah, for my
Yeah.
Meshuggah fans out there, where's it at? Where's it at? But so every style. But I didn't learn that until I was older, and it was great. I'm grateful for the people I had around me, like my mum, my dad, listening
Yeah.
to the music, my uncle,
Yeah.
my music teachers, teachers in general, and and my friends, of course. And it's just like you get to a point where you kind of feel that you should only listen to rock or a style of music suits you and your identity, and sometimes it's scary to say that you do listen to hip hop and rap because all your mates may be listening to metal and you don't want to seem like that, or I don't know. But yes, I listen to everything for sure.
When I was going through engineering course, audio engineering, we'd always have critical listening
Great.
sessions, right?
Yeah.
And when you open yourself up to different genres, even if you're specifically known to create one type of genre, there's always ideas that can kind of, come in. So, anyways, All I Need is the next track by Ben Ruegg.
Okay, before you play this one,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
preface this. This is still in demo form for you.
This one.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So let me just talk about this one from a very special song.
Sure.
So I co-wrote the song with a guy called Fabian Roberts,
Yeah.
who was a music teacher at a school I was teaching at the time. This is 2014, and he came over, and I'd had an idea, and we co-wrote this together. Absolutely. And it was left as a demo a long time ago, and then it's now been redone, and it's going to be on the album. And so what you're kind of hearing is the new version of the
Nice.
new demo, but
Yeah.
it's missing a whole lot of stuff that has just been added in this morning, actually.
This morning.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
and-
how real time we are.
yeah, yeah. So the
Wow.
one you're gonna listen to now isn't that version, but the one I could give you is that version. But nonetheless, it's still the same song.
Yeah.
And the song is about, I don't know, man. I'm a parent, and so I've got 2 kids.
Yeah,
and,
they're in the background. They're
playing-
fine. They're
playing
playing
games.
video games and
playing games. It's great. And then so it's about what's it like to be a dad?
Yeah.
What's it like to be a parent? What's it like to have something that you really truly love? Yeah. So this song is actually going to be called Love, as
Aw.
opposed to All I Need. But
Yeah.
there you go.
yeah. Oh, that's sweet. Okay. Well, keen to hear it now. So, you're tuned to Kiwiradio.nz. Before we get started, I also want to say we are currently simulcast on upfm.co.nz, and I see a few people on our YouTube channel. So it's youtube.com/@KiwiRadioNZ, where you can chat to us live. It's fun when people do. So, and also I want to say we do have a sponsor to this podcast, a wonderful tech startup in Hastings in New Zealand. They are basically finding a way to connect musicians with paid gigs. It's a free app you can download on iPhone and iPad. No Androids, I've been told, for now. But yeah, it's called Musician Buddy, and they've just been such a cool fit for the show. So shout outs to Musician Buddy. Try it out for free, and let's get on with the music. You're tuned to Kiwiradio.nz.
I lay awake and stare at the stars and think of you, all that you are, and how you changed my life, took away the pain. It's like falling in love all over again. I am thankful to the angels that sent you here to me, and I know I'm in love, because you are all I need. you'll never be alone, 'cause I will always be here, a shoulder to cry on, should you ever shed tears. And if you need my help, all you do is call. I wanna watch you grow older, I wanna watch you grow tall. And I am blessed to have you here in my life next to me, and I know I'm in love, because you are all I need. You are all I need. Don't run away, no don't run when things get tough. Yeah, believe me when I say that everything can be overcome through love. And I love you, 'cause you are all I
Kiwiradio.nz. I am your host, Ralphie. We've got the amazing Ben Ruegg. Awesome guy. We're really bonding with some of the nostalgic collections in the background. Again, tune into youtube.com/@Kiwiradio.nz so you can see what that looks like. But yeah, we're into the same stuff, man. That's awesome. Music, though. So we've got, well, that's 2 out of 3 already. So I feel like we're doing really well for time, and so we can have like a little rant section if you like. You know?
Rant
Yeah,
section.
not rant. That's kind of got a negative context, but we can have a campfire
Okay. Down for whatever.
Style.
I'm down for whatever.
whatever thing. Okay, so we have all sorts of creatives listening to the show. I think we'll start off with something kind of, I don't know, supportive. What is something you want to tell your 10-year younger self that you don't know now? Like, what's...
Don't buy so much stuff that you don't need.
Oh, you're talking to the
No,
wrong person.
No. Do it later on. Do it
Yes.
later on.
Yes.
Just not then. You don't. You're gonna move house. You're gonna have kids. You
And
never
do it debt-free too.
Yeah,
if,
debt-
if
100%
possible.
debt free, man. Look,
I've
if you,
got this wonderful book, and it's not a sponsor.
right.
I'm a Ramsey kind of guy. He's all about doing it in debt free. But so this collection is all debt free, by the way.
Yeah,
is
that's
what I
fine.
wanted to say.
Nothing to do with that. It's the other other
But
stuff.
wrong person. I
Yeah.
like shiny things.
No, so then
I-
the other bit of advice I'd give myself is just to just take stock of what you have and don't be
Yeah.
afraid to just step out, man. Just do it.
Yeah.
Stop. I know that's the Nike slogan, logo.
Is it?
Logo. Just do it. Yeah. But no, that idea of just go ahead. I actually did it a couple of times. 10 years ago, I would say that I released an EP coming out of university called The Road, and then I
Ooh, yeah.
released an album with some friends that I didn't even really sing on.
Yeah.
Because I was too afraid to sing on it. And I'd written almost all the music. We were called Main on Peak, and the album was called Focused. And I had Danny, who's actually going to be playing at the show at the Hawkins.
You've got a show coming out?
Yeah. So she's
plug it.
We'll do that in a moment.
Yeah.
So she sung a couple of songs. A good friend called Sio sung songs, and yeah, it was a great album, and I really like it. So it's actually on Spotify now under the band that I have called Channeled, which is a rock outfit.
Good of you guys.
Yeah,
3-piece, right?
4-piece.
Oh, one time it was a 3-piece, I think.
Maybe we've played once as a 3-piece, but mainly it's when it started. It was just a solo project. So that's my rock band Channeled. You know, it's it's different sounding music, and so hence why I had to separate it to make it this. But yeah, I would say, just go out there and give it a go. See what happens.
And do it. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Do you have questions for me?
Yeah, what's your favorite style of music?
My style of music. Wow. Okay, so give me 5 minutes to explain.
Okay.
I used to DJ 3 or 4 nights at a pool hall.
Nice.
So back then it was house music. I was all about electronic music. I'd go to all these underground raves and
can I test you on that one? Just
yeah, sure, you could go.
Why is it called house music?
House music is because, well, it derived in Chicago, and they were having house block parties.
And also, I think it was the Warehouse, the place called the Warehouse in that area.
Yeah.
Was where they played that style, and they just shortened it. It became known as house music. So well done.
Yeah,
Good
thank
job.
you. Well, cool.
Knew that.
I felt a little. I was like, oh, pub quiz thing. I'm usually terrible, but yeah, when it comes to music, I try and.
Good. Yeah, appreciate that.
No, that's cool. But yeah, so anyways, fast forward, I went through this breakup, right? And I've been told I'm a serial monogamous because I'm married now of 15 years, but each girlfriend was like at least 5 years, right?
Right.
So I've only had 3, right? And my second one kind of left me to go to Ireland for her OE and broke up with me via email.
Right.
This is 5 years in.
Yeah.
And so that really hurt. So I was all about partying. I was in a real good mood. But when that kicked in, I was starting to listen to Radiohead, man. I was just all about Radiohead and ballads. And so we actually have a great episode on this very topic with an architect that was on the podcast. And I've got it up here. His name is Santosh Satpathy. And we had an hour discussion on how music, what it does to our brain and emotions, and how we can use it to stay focused towards our life goals. But there was a certain section that he talked about how our taste in music can change depending on our current personal life and circumstance.
I'd agree with that.
So yeah, it changes. But I'm like you. I think all genres have good ideas. So yeah, cool.
I would say that the biggest problem right now, if I was to go on a little side rant, it would be we just have so much music to choose from. Yeah. And that's not a bad thing, first and foremost. I think it's amazing. But what I really encourage people to do is to spend time to learn the artist that they're listening to.
Yes.
And it's not just one song. It's typically an album, and maybe there are obviously, during the CD boom where they were just signing artists, putting out a single, and they're making money off the CD sales, for sure. But even then, they still actually were writing full, whole albums, ideally. Mm-hmm. And so nowadays, we just listen to playlists, which again, there's no issues with that. But I think that's why, believe it or not, the vinyl comeback was making a big deal, was a big deal. But now they reckon, and understandably, CDs is going to make a big comeback. And I've always kept my CD collection, the majority of it, simply because, again, great albums. You get to read the liner notes, mm-hmm. Find out who wrote it, where it was recorded, who produced it, who played on it.
Yeah.
Important stuff. You can't really
Photos.
100%.
Yeah. Sometimes I really like looking at the credits.
I always do that, yeah.
Sure. You've worked with Scott Seabright. See, I've done my homework.
He did this. He mixed
like that,
this song.
It's like the same guy doing so many cool projects, right? It's like credits are awesome for me.
And look, man, you pull the trigger on some of these things to get completed, and I'm glad I did that, and I'm glad I did the Encounter, which will be the last song we play, just because I'd spent so much time on it. I needed to say I'm done with this now. Someone else can kind of polish it up and look. You know what? There's one word, one actually saying, not word. It's someone gave to me and said this is the most important thing: talent bank.
Talent bank.
Meaning, like,
love that.
build friends and have
Yeah.
friends around you that have different talents, and don't be afraid to let them take over that for you.
Yeah.
So if you've got someone
Yeah.
that does great artwork and they're a friend,
Yeah.
offer them a chance to do some artwork with you and pay them.
Yeah.
Or give them something in
Yeah.
return for that,
Yeah.
Vice versa.
I love that.
Yeah, that's one thing I learned for sure.
Art is indeed a personal outlet, but it is that process is so enjoyable when you start inviting others into your world. It becomes less lonely. I totally dig that. Talent pool. I've not heard anyone say those two words
There you go.
combined. Anyways, third and final.
Right.
That was a good 10-minute run, which is perfect. You've done this before, I know.
This because I'm a teacher and I'm always checking how much time I have left in class.
Yeah.
So this final song, just to preface this one. So when my dad was passing, so I've become very spiritual. I've always been
Yeah.
spiritual,
Me
but I
too,
would
man. Me
say
too,
I would
yeah.
say I've
Right here, buddy. Right here. Whew.
my man. Yeah, I have a tattoo of the
I-
Holy Trinity here.
I often play a game called Bible Roulette.
Okay.
Have you played that?
No.
It's great for songwriting.
Great.
You just look, for example, here we go. After King of Babylon, you can start a verse with it. After King of Babylon.
Right. That's
Right?
great. Yes.
Bible Roulette, man.
Yeah, I would say
Sorry,
that's
tangent.
no,
This is
that
what
was
the
great.
show is
That's
about.
Fine with me. That's fine with
Honestly,
me.
I remind people,
No.
campfire stuff. It's funny because when you do gigs, right,
Yeah.
the live sound guy will say, "Don't talk." I'm totally opposite. We're
Right.
a podcast. Talk.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Encounter is a song. So when my dad was ill, and there was one moment in particular which I remember very vividly, and it was the week he was passing, that he was going to pass. I didn't know what was going on. I could just feel some presence, and that presence I'd felt before, and it
Wow.
led me places. Things like quitting my job at my when I was younger to take up the job as teacher, or to
Yeah.
the feeling of being driven to kind of go and speak to the girl that is now my wife and has been for some time,
Mhm.
and all these different things. Anyway, so that song is called Encounter because during my dad's week, I could feel that, and I wanted to let
Wow.
him know that he was very deeply loved.
Aw.
And yeah, it's to me that I just follow that now, and that's what this album is kind of sum of all parts, in that sense of all these songs have different places in my life and they have different meanings, and it's going to culminate with the show in the Hawkins Theatre on the 3rd of May, Papakura. I've always wanted to play there. It's a place in Papakura that our school used to go and do some shows at, and I don't think I ever played it once, and because it's local. And it's like, people know who I am. It's in my area. We're going to finish up pretty early. We're going to be done by about 9:30, 10 o'clock. I want everyone to sit down, enjoy it, go home, and get a night's rest, because I like to go to bed early. But also, I'm bringing on great musicians to help me bring this thing together. And all I really want to have is a real awesome experience shared with other people. And we can all just say that was a great time. And then with that, an album of songs, all of which they had heard played live for the very first time. There's not one song that I'm playing that has never been. I've never played any of these live. Never. I mean, I've done acoustic versions when I've done a bit of an open mic night tour, and that's where I met the opening artist, Thomas Coffey, who I met at the Kingslander, and I asked him, after meeting him a few more times, would he open for me. So, look, I'm very blessed to have had this opportunity to go down this journey of booking a show, figuring out how to get the album sorted, sorting out the mixes and the masters. It's just been an absolute treat, man. Can't wait for this to happen, and then I can get some rest.
Well, it's nice to bookmark those celebrations. You put your heart and soul into a whole album.
Yo.
So it's fun to do an album launch, really. Is it merch going to be?
Yeah, the merch, I think we've got, there's a little logo that I use. It's just got BR, and it's kind of in a background with a yellowy sort of circle. And and so, yeah, we're going to get that printed, and on the
Nice.
back, we're just going to say Hawkins
Nice.
2025. And I don't know if we're going to list anything else there, but people will be able to buy those, and I think they're going to be like $40 each. Anything like that. And I've also got a Kickstarter
Oh,
set
you
up.
do? Right
Yeah,
now?
Yeah. Right now
Wow.
there's a Kickstarter because I used Kickstarter to fund one of my albums back in the day. But
Yeah.
look, if I really want to make this shine up and have like some CDs that I could sell, I'm sure I'd make money back once it's done. But it'd be good to kind of, it's almost like a pre-order system in my way. I need to guarantee it so that I can get it printed. But then if it doesn't happen before the show, it will happen. It will just happen when the time is right. I'm not going to force anything like that to happen. When the money appears to me, or an opportunity appears, that's kind of when I know, after some discernment, that that's the avenue that I need to follow.
I'm a big fan of Kickstarter and crowdfunding platforms. I'm the story of that era, really. I've done 3 in my time.
Awesome.
And for some reason, I found an audience in Germany.
Wow.
Netherlands and Germany.
Yeah.
And thanks to the label I had at the time that made those connections. But yeah, I was just this Kiwi dude. No one knew who I was. And then for some reason, Germans. And
Nice.
the only German I know is Guten Tag.
Yeah.
So I should really be grateful for that. But yeah, please, Ben Ruegg has a Kickstarter. So I'm going to plug that right now. And looks like you've got a couple of backers already. So find that now. And also, I'm glad you circled back to that album launch. It's really good to kind of celebrate these milestones, really. So that's the Chaotic Sea album launch, 3rd of May. And what night is that, by the way?
It's a Saturday night.
Saturday night, 3rd of May, 2025, starting at 7 p.m. About a 3-hour show, and it's all ages.
Yeah, man. I
If
want
you can,
I want the kids to come and see what I do.
Yeah.
Like the students I teach and families and
Yeah.
friends. Come see what happens when I
Yeah.
jump on stage and
yeah,
I kind of channel That's why
That's
Channeled
fun.
was called Channeled.
yeah, oh yeah, wow, cool.
Yes, yeah,
Many
performance.
layers. Now, for anyone that hasn't been to Hawkins Theatre in Papakura, how do you describe that venue?
It's a theatre. It's got a wonderful stage with red chairs. I love the red there.
Nice.
It's kind of not far from the city centre, but it feels like a theatre, and they've got all sorts of things there. They've done all
Wow.
sorts of things there. And also, it's very special for me simply because I got my citizenship, and that's where we had our ceremony. Because I'm British. I'm born British.
Ooh,
And I only got my citizenship in, I think it was 2022,
Yeah.
2023?
nice. Congrats.
2022. Yeah.
Your wife didn't get you one before that?
No, I
You
had
were
permanent
illegal
residence.
for a long time.
I had permanent residence, bro. Yeah, don't tell anyone I was. Yeah, but yeah,
No, you're
I
good.
was just like, when you go for a passport, you have to go through that rigmarole of making sure that you.
Yeah.
Nah, I was like, just get citizenship. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, congrats on that.
Thank you.
And yeah, awesome. Awesome to hear these stories and songs. We're going to play Encounter right now, and that's your final track, and then we'll do
Yeah.
the close off.
Sweet.
And yeah, check that out live. It's going to be fun. Hawkins Theatre. Where can people find you, by the way? Links?
Spotify. They can find me on Apple Music. They can find me on Facebook, Instagram. I don't really have too much TikTok stuff. I'm not really a massive TikTok
I
fan
have
myself.
not started that.
Yeah,
Nah.
I'm in two minds. We won't go there today about that.
No,
but
that's another discussion.
YouTube, yeah, anywhere. And also, guys, if you see me around and you want to say hi,
Yeah.
come say hi. If you know who I am, that's
Yeah.
fine.
At least you're on YouTube, because I've been told by the analytics that that's the #1 search engine. So that's a
Right.
good place to start.
I mean, Google owns it.
Ooh, yeah, there we go. But if you're umming and erring, and yeah, just start with maybe YouTube. You know,
Right.
it's launched a lot of great careers.
100%. Logan Paul.
Yeah, yeah, Logan Paul. Why does that ring a bell? Local guy?
No, he's from
Oh.
America. He's just before we get yeah.
Yeah.
I love wrestling so much, but we'll talk about that
Oh,
another day.
Logan! Again, my brain is like on maximum 150% because we've only got an hour slot.
I know.
But we've got so many tangents. Before I play the song, are you a fan of multiverses?
I have looked. I've
feel
read,
like
I've read
I
that
feel
stuff.
like I could live every multiverse
Yes, I've read.
when you're in the presence of
Right.
Ben Ruegg.
That's
Hey, I made you laugh. There
good.
we go.
Yeah, there we go.
You know you've bonded with the guests when you make them laugh. Some guests, I try. Sometimes they go straight away. They just give you laughs like it's free. You know, first 3 seconds I meet them.
Could be a nervous giggle.
Yeah, could be. But some of them
probably
are
not.
stern.
Yeah, they're
There's one or
heartfelt.
two. But anyways, this has been fun. I've had a great time.
Great.
Ben Ruegg, amazing musician, and based here in New Zealand. So check it out. And this is the final track called Encounter.
Calling from the past. waves of fear washing over me. And I don't know what you call this, but man, it feels so real. And I fall into the abyss, and it just swallows me. I see the swirling lights beside the open door. I feel the light embrace, and I know that this is something that I have felt before. Calling from the past, a light beneath the sea. I feel the waves of fear washing over me. And I don't know what you call this, but man, it feels so real. And I fall into the abyss, and it just swallows me. I see the swirling lights beside the open door. I feel the light embrace, and I know that this is something that I have felt before. And I don't know what you call this, but man, it feels so real. And I slip into the abyss, and it just swallows me. And I don't know what you call this, but man, it feels so real. And I slip into the abyss, and it just swallows me.
You're tuned into Kiwiradio.nz. That is Ben Ruegg, which you can find him and chat to him one-on-one at Instagram.com/ben.ruegg, RUEGG. You can also message, it says here you can message you for session or production work, and all sorts of fun stuff. You live and breathe music, man.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, and there's a good why behind it too. If
Yeah.
if you just tuned in, just rewind and listen back to those stories. It's been a great why, and congratulate you in the journey and the album launch that's to come. Yeah, man, this has been fun.
Thank you. It's been fun. Absolutely.
Anything else?
Not really. I would just anything I would say would be just thanks to all my friends and family, and to especially my family here. They've been listening to those songs for the last year. They can hear it up in the bedroom. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
A lot of time.
Hey, I checked out some of your photos. You do a lot of stuff at home. I have to say, we're sound card buddies. We've got the same sound card.
What sound card? Oh, the
The red one.
Focusrite.
The red one.
Focusrite. Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. Hey, it looks like you've got a couple of CDs though. Will the merch be available for the show, or haven't got?
We haven't got
anything
there
lined
yet.
up?
Haven't got there yet. If the Kickstarter pays off well,
Yeah.
it means that the digital copy for those that wanted to help fund the
Got it.
project will get a full. But then there'll also be funds available for me to make the CDs.
Yeah,
That's what I'm looking to
makes
do.
sense.
Yep.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you'd like to ask me before we sign off?
Who's your next guest?
My next guest. Now, here's the thing. We are booked out, and I do have it on my phone. Let's see. We are booked out till September.
Wows.
Wowzers. And we've got a couple of live stuff as well, like people in person. The only thing is, I schedule my calendar way in advance because
course.
you can't always get it right, but it's good to kind of do that because otherwise you're just fluffing here and there, right?
Faffing about.
Faffing about. Got to have goals.
I agree.
Cool. Hey, thank you so much. I always tell all our guests to please stay cool and stay creative. So please
Sure.
keep doing what you do. And have a great album release.
Thank you.
That's going to be fun. What do the rehearsals look like? And
Got
build up
one.
to that?
Got one tonight.
Right now. Wow. Well,
Tonight,
not-
and then one next week, and then that's us, man. We're on.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that is us. Thank you, Ben Ruegg.
Appreciate it. Thanks,
And
Ralphie.
please come again at some point. Yeah,
Probably in October.
October's good. That's my birthday month.
Aye.
We lined that up well. Okay. Well, thank you so much for listening to Kiwiradio.nz. Remember, we are usually on Tuesday night, 7 to 8 p.m. New Zealand time, each and every week. If on the odd occasion we're not, there'll be a replay there and then. And we do in-person interviews as well. So if you want to hit me up with your music or come in or you want to play some stuff on air, send me an email at kiwiradio@proton.me. That's kiwiradio@proton.me. Or send a DM on instagram.com/kiwiradio.nz. All right, guys. Take care. Over and out.